All right. So now against
Tukmakov, well, here we have a small story again. A small story because Fischer was well known everywhere. He played only e4, first move, Here he played completely unexpected this move b3, which is okay, more or less more quiet like this with white. To tell the truth, I was always very content when somebody played against myself b3 because
Right.
it's quiet and you have a very good game already in a few moves with black. And you can beat almost everybody, but okay, everybody, but not Fischer, you see, this is a problem. And here you see, the idea for white is to play with white the hedgehog. The hedgehog for black, if you remember, was a very good opening, a little bit passive, it seems, but very instructive, and that gives very good chances to play for win for black. And therefore, many strong grandmasters like Lubojevich, Anderson, and many others, myself also, we played with much pleasure, the hedgehog with black, and we had many very important successes. Here, Fischer plays with white, and the result would be very instructive also because he beats in such a way Tukmakov, who was a very strong grandmaster, also one of the best young players from the Soviet Union in that moment when they played the tournament. It was the Clarin tournament in 1970. And it was a little bit strange because Fischer played like this with white, not because the opening was bad or not, you see. The opening is nothing special, to tell the truth. It's a little bit more quiet with white. But you have to be very careful with black all the time. If you overstep a little bit the limit, you have the result from our game, from here, we see. So, okay, the move order is also very important. Okay, black plays normally. He doesn't make any mistakes. He plays the normal moves. Knight f6. Okay, and after knight f6, again, a very normal move, e3. I mean, he controls the central squares with e3. But for the moment, it's very quiet and very, very little for white. Okay, e3. Now, bishop e7. The alternative was to play here g6 and bishop g7, coming to a position from King's Indian. But okay, he had some other idea to play d5 very quickly. He wanted to play d5 very quickly. So a3. All right, castle. And here again, a pawn move, d3. Okay, he played 5 times to the pawns, you see. Very strange from Fischer, no? Okay, Fischer doesn't play like this, never, But okay, here he played. So now black tries to take the initiative. He accepts the challenge. Okay, d5. All right, he took in d5. And now the normal move was to take with the knight. But okay, he tried to play better and stronger. Queen takes d5. Okay, knight c3, queen d6, and knight f3. Finally, he came out with some pieces, knight f3. Until now, everything is normal. Bishop f5, okay, very good move again. So, queen c2, and here he played rook fd8. In my opinion, it was better to play normally the other rook, rook a d8, and afterwards rook f to e8. And wait, he has control over the central squares. Black has equality, normally, no problem at all, But okay, he played the other rook in d8, and from here the game will be very interesting.
But the idea to bring this rook from f is to...
I mean, he wanted to play immediately against the pawn from d3 and have the possibility to put the other rook in c8 and maybe later on to come with the knight somewhere and play c5. Probably that was the idea from black, But it's not so
Too
easy.
slow.
You can't, it takes a little bit of time, So rook d1. h6, okay, bishop, h3, pardon, h3, queen e6, bishop e2, okay, until, knight d2, pardon, knight d2, very good move again, because if he played immediately bishop e2, then black is better playing simply e5, e4. If he can open the game, black is better, But, okay, knight d2 controls the square e4, very precise. Then here knight waits a little bit, knight d7, preparing also knight c5. He wants to come to c5, maybe, Okay, so here bishop e2. Now he changes the plan and he plays king h8. Well, king h8, in my opinion, again, is not the best move. Probably it was better to play queen g6, provoking the move g4. Okay, move g4 is very sharp, but at least you can try to show something with black, that you want something and you accept the fight, you see. Now he waits a little bit too much, 2-3 moves too much with black, you see, and the result would be catastrophic for black, you see. So, okay, king has, and now white has time to castle. Very important. Okay, he castles. Bishop g6. Okay, black is waiting again. Now b4. Okay, the first part of the game is finished. White, to everybody's surprise, has a very good game, because the idea is clear. He wants to come later on the central square with knight e4, knight c5, maybe. Or the idea is to put the rook in c1, the other rook in d1, and play knight a4, knight b3, trying to come to c5. This is classical idea for white, you see. Okay, so here black has to try to find some counterplay, and he prepares against this idea, with a6. And here, rook c1, rook c8, rook d1. Everybody is... And now he changed again the plan. He placed something on the other side, with f5. The idea is to play later on something with f4, if he has time, you see. But in meantime, white is coming. Knight a4. Knight again, knight a7 is a little bit strange again. Maybe it was better to play simply knight f6. Okay, white is a little bit better, but not so much. But after knight a7, the game is already better for white, you see, because he has a threat, you see.
The threat is...
the threat is to come with a piece simply on c5, controlling the squares d4 and d4, and having a very strong initiative on the central squares. So he played here knight b3, okay. And after knight b3, he lost another tempo b6, and the game is already a little bit artificial for black, you see, with the knight in a7. The only good move later on is to put the knight on b5. He plays b6 because he didn't like to give a possibility to come with the piece in c5, and he controls the square c5. But now white is coming again very quickly, d4, and now it's almost decisive what to do here with with black. He found the move f4, and after f4, very big surprise e4. Now black is lost. Now black is lost because we have the threat bishop g4 and d takes e5. What to do? Now he took in d4. No, he played knight b5, pardon. Knight b5. And after bishop g4, queen f6. Well, instead of knight b5, I tell you, if you can put back a little bit, he can take in d4. But now he saw it, he's lost because of knight takes d4, and he doesn't have time to take with the queen in e4. After queen takes e4, bishop d3, black resigns. Yeah. You lose the bishop. You see? So therefore he's forced to play knight b5. And then after knight b5, the game is finished in a few moves. e4, knight b5. Okay, bishop g4. What to do? Queen f6, the only move. And now he took. Now you lose the exchange with black. At least the exchange, because if you don't take in e5, you lose a piece. It's even worse, you see. You lose the knight from d7. So he has to take. So now bishop takes there. Takes, and now rook d5. And he resigned probably immediately here, no? Yeah, bishop d6. Well, he resigned because bishop d6 forced, no? Knight takes b6. Knight takes b6.
Yes.
Now you have to move the rook in e8. And now again, pin, knight c4. And you look at the result. Terrible result for black. Yes. You lose everything, every piece.
Oh, yes.
You see, in a few moves, almost from nothing. From such an opening, you see.
Yeah.
If you look, the
From
first
this,
10 moves, that is almost a little bit passive for white. And therefore, afterwards, it was fantastic thing what happened, Almost from nothing, a catastrophe for black, you see, tactical catastrophe.
True.
Yeah. And against a very strong grandmaster. I mean, Tukmakov was already a very strong grandmaster, Well, that was Bobby Fischer.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
You're welcome.